AI in project management isn't coming, it's here, and it is popping up everywhere in project work. Project plans, roadmaps, vendor meetings, executive summaries, it's in every conversation. And yet, a lot of project managers and team members are wondering, are we all speaking the same language when we're talking about AI, or are we just nodding along hoping that we are? If you've ever felt that way, you are not alone, my friend, and this video is exactly for you. You do not need to be a technical expert to run AI projects. And I will say that again. You do not need to be a technical expert to run AI projects. We need project managers to run AI projects. But you do need to understand a shared language used in AI projects because a lot of the language being used is interchanged, but the definitions and the things we're talking about mean very different things. So let's break down a few core AI terms that every project manager needs to understand and explain why they matter and how you can use them when you're making real project decisions. Term number one, artificial intelligence, AI. This is the umbrella term. AI is the broadest term available. It refers to systems that perform tasks that we typically associate with human thinking or human intelligence. Things like learning, reasoning, decision making, recognizing patterns. But what I want you to do is think about AI as a category, not a tool. We hear AI tools and we might be using them interchangeably, but they're not. Think about AI as the whole category, the type of project. Like, is this a waterfall project? Is this an agile or software development project, or is this an AI project? Think about it as a category. Your role as a PM isn't to build the AI model. Just like as if you're working on a development project, your role as the PM isn't to develop the code. Same thing here. Your role as the project manager on the AI project is to clarify what kind of intelligence the project actually needs to be successful. So AI is the category. Term number two, machine learning. And this is learning from patterns. Machine learning is a subset of AI, and it's not the same as automation. Automation is totally different than AI. Automation is when something is following a strict, pre-programmed rules to complete a task. Not machine learning at all. Machine learning, instead of using strict rules to complete a task, it's going to learn patterns from data and then improve its learning over time. Some examples of this would be forecasting demand, detecting fraud, recommending projects, predicting outcomes. Machine learning projects live and die by data. Data quality, data volume, data availability. Timeline risk and scope risk often have less to do with the team's work and way more to do with the data that's involved in this project and whether that data is actually usable. If the data is messy, the project is going to feel messy the entire time. Term number three, deep learning. Deep learning is a more advanced subset of machine learning, and it uses layered neural networks. Very fancy words for it learns in layers. Each layer figures out one small piece of the puzzle, and then those layers are layered on top of each other to create the full understanding. This is the stuff that powers things that we're using today: image recognition, voice assistance, facial recognition, and advanced language translations. Deep learning, as a subset of machine learning, uses a ton of data, but deep learning uses even more than typical machine learning. It needs more computer power, more data, longer training cycles. And this directly impacts three things that project managers are all too keenly aware of, which would be cost, timelines, and feasibility. Term number four, generative AI. Generative AI uses machine learning techniques to create new content based on learned patterns. Think of chatbots or summaries, article summaries, things like that. We also see generative AI making images, making videos. And also, one very cool thing is making synthetic data. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in the next term. What I want you to know here is because generative AI is all around us, it's fairly easy to use, available with commercial models. A lot of people will use that term interchanged with AI, but they don't mean the same thing. And that's important in your project work because those language misunderstandings can often lead to things like poorly scoped projects, inflated expectations, and confusion about risk or value. And those are things that us human PMs do not like. Term number 5, synthetic data. This is a bonus term. It's not something you maybe thought you need to know, but I think this is so important for project managers. Using synthetic data can unblock projects when you don't have enough data or the right data. And that might be due to things like privacy, security, or regulatory constraints. Just remember, if you're going to use synthetic data in your model to train it, make sure that you're addressing questions about validation and ethics. To project manage AI projects, you don't need to memorize a ton of definitions or be a data scientist, but you do need to have some confidence about the different types of AI there are and be able to ask better questions. Things like, are we building a predictive machine learning model or generative AI model? What does the data needed for the model to work look like? Where does it come from? What does success look like at the end of this project? AI projects typically don't fail because PMs are not technical enough. They fail because expectations and assumptions go unexamined. This video is part of a short series where I'm going to break down AI concepts specifically for project managers without a ton of jargon and without the pressure to feel like you have to memorize a ton of technical knowledge to dive into AI projects. If you think this might be helpful for your career, subscribe. I'll link articles and resources below, and I'll be sharing more about potential study groups coming up.